guys, Logan Battles here, and welcome to another episode of Logan Battles Football Talk. I almost forgot. A series where I can make, 10-minute plus long discussions about any related subject. Football player, football coach, football team, football stadium, football schedule, anything like that is subject to football. Stuff like that. Anyway, for this episode, we're going to be talking about the Minnesota Vikings drafted Dalvin Cook, or Dalvin Cook being drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. I've been wanting to do this video ever since the draft has ended or reached its conclusion, and stuff like that, because I thought I read that it's going to end on April 28th, which I think was the day before yesterday. Yeah. And what are my overall thoughts on Dalvin Cook being drafted by the Minnesota Vikings? Well, I would say first off, I didn't expect that. I really didn't. I really didn't expect that whatsoever. It was very unexpected. It was very surprising. It was a huge surprise to me, actually. I never thought for 1 second that the Minnesota Vikings would draft my man, Dalvin Cook. I never thought that for one single split of a second whatsoever. I really didn't. I did a video called Possible NFL Teams to Draft Dalvin Cook. In that video that I did, I mentioned one part that there were 4 teams that I predicted would draft Dalvin Cook. They were pretty much the option. There's pretty much had to be more than just one NFL team that I would say draft Dalvin Cook, that would draft Dalvin Cook. The first one that I came up with was the Cleveland Browns. And the only reason why is because from what I heard, their running backs sucked. In fact, the whole offensive line pretty much sucked, as well as the defensive line. But I'm talking about the whole offensive line. From what I heard, their running backs sucked. Their quarterbacks sucked. Their tight ends sucked. Their wide receivers sucked. Their whole offensive tackles and center are pretty much sucked. Any player on the offensive team that I heard of. And I feel like that because I picked Cleveland Browns to draft Dalvin Cook only because they have a sucky running back. That's pretty much the only reason why I picked the Cleveland Browns as one of the possible teams to draft Dalvin Cook. Another team that I picked to or predicted to draft Dalvin Cook were the Indianapolis Colts. Now, this reason is pretty much like the reason I explained for the Cleveland Browns, but this one is pretty much, I guess you could say, similar to the first one that I explained for why I picked the Cleveland Browns. This one I picked the Indianapolis Colts to draft Dalvin Cook because even though their running back wasn't really good, from what I heard, this running back for the Indianapolis Colts wasn't as terrible as the one in Cleveland Browns running back. But the reason I picked the Indianapolis Colts to draft Dalvin Cook is because I feel like, or I thought that they might want a really good running back to get their running game on, to get their running game better, make it better than the previous years that they had, and stuff like that. That's pretty much that reason alone. Pretty much was like the reason I explained for why I picked the Cleveland Browns. I mean, I almost said Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah. Uh, what else? Oh yeah, another team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I only mention Tampa Bay Buccaneers as one of the possible teams to draft Dalvin Cook for one reason only. I've been wanting to see Dalvin Cook and Jameis Winston working together on the offensive field for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. I've been wanting to see both of them work each other on the offense and just run down the field and stuff like that, or throw down the field and stuff like that. I really wanted to see that happen. And if that happened the other way around, I would have been yo. You wouldn't even like know how awesome that would be for me. I would just be going crazy. I would just be going wow. I would just be going all partying and stuff like that. Like, woo! Hey! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No, well, but, I mean, yeah, that's how I would react if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers draft Dalvin Cook. But that didn't happen, and that's okay. It was pretty much what you would expect. Buccaneers not drafting Dalvin Cook, and I can see that not happening. But again, it would have been cool if that happened, really, really happened, and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, that would be so awesome. I would love to see that happen the other way around, but it is what it is. That is pretty much the only reason why I picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as one of the NFL teams I predicted to draft Dalvin Cook. And one last team that I mentioned in that video I did, possible NFL teams to draft Dalvin Cook. This is the one team that I feel like deserved to draft Dalvin Cook more than the rest of the three teams in the NFL that I mentioned. And that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Jacksonville, uh, the Jaguars of Jacksonville have not been that good in recent years, as y'all may know, for those who have watched football, like I have. They have not been that good in the last few years, as well as some other teams like Miami Dolphins and some other teams like that. They just been like mediocre, less average, a lower average actually. And I feel like that if they had drafted Dalvin Cook instead of drafting Leonard Fournette, I am fully convinced. I would have been fully convinced that the Jacksonville Jaguars would have been 100 times better in their 2017 season than they were in their previous seasons, and stuff like that. That's the only thing I would see that happen is having him drafted to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It would have made the whole Jacksonville Jaguars situation thing go around and stuff like that, and make things better for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Those are some of the reasons why I had the Jacksonville Jaguars my leading pick to my leading predicted pick to draft Dalvin Cook in the 2017 NFL Draft. The Jacksonville Jaguars were like my leading pick to draft Dalvin Cook, and that did not happen. It really didn't happen, and although I was disappointed at that, at the same time, I wasn't surprised by that. I kind of somewhat expected, that the Jaguars might not pick Dalvin Cook, somewhat. Although I felt like the Jaguars actually do want did want Dalvin Cook and did want to draft him and stuff like that. But yeah, it is what it is. Those are like the 4 teams that I predicted to draft Dalvin Cook in that video I did, and none of them ever drafted Dalvin Cook. None of them at all. None of them. And that's a bit of a surprise. A surprise. I was almost speechless after seeing that Dalvin Cook has been drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, I just didn't know how I feel about it. Although I did watch one video on Facebook that was from the official Facebook page from Florida State Seminoles football. I think that's what it's called, where it shows Dalvin Cook and his whole family and friends standing right next to him, watching the draft as it happened. And after hearing that he got drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, every single one of his family members and friends were all like cheering and all like, "Yay! Woo! Woo! Yeah!" and all that stuff. And then, while Dalvin Cook was all raising his fist up and just shake his fist forward and backward, and just puts a not even a big smile, not just a big smile, a big grin on his face. You can go check out the video for yourself on Facebook page for the Florida State Seminoles football page, and stuff like that. You can go check out that video. You can just see Dalvin Cook putting a big, not like I said, not just a big smile, a big grin he put on his face. Like he was so excited about being drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. Like he was very, very happy about it. He's very happy about it. And I love that. I love that he's happy about it. If he's happy about being drafted by not the Denver Broncos, the Minnesota Vikings, I'm cool with that. If he likes being drafted by the Minnesota Vikings and wants to stay with the Minnesota Vikings, fine. I'm cool with him being happy to be there. He wants to be with I can't speak for some reason. If he wants to be with the Minnesota Vikings, cool. I'm very happy that he's happy. If he's happy, then I'm happy. Because I want to see him happy. It's really cool to see a big grin he put on his face. I absolutely love that. I thought that he had a blast seeing that draft as it happened. I love that. Anyway, I guess that's about it. Giving you my whole reaction to Dalvin Cook being drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. There might be more, but I think that's all I could come up with on the top of my head. Yeah, that's about it. Anyway, guys, that's just my whole reaction to the Minnesota Vikings drafting Dalvin Cook as their new running back. I don't know if Dalvin Cook is going to be a big replacement for Adrian Peterson or not, but we'll see if that happens. He might be the next Adrian Peterson, but we'll see if that really happens, if that is the case. I mean, I don't think it will happen, but again, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, please click the like button and comment down below to let me know what you think. Were you surprised that the Minnesota Vikings draft Dalvin Cook, or were you not surprised? Put your comments below. Let me know. And if you enjoy what you've seen here and you want to see future videos from me, please click the like button and... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait. No, I already said it. I messed it up. Sorry, guys. And if you enjoy what you've seen here and you want to see future videos from me, please click the subscribe button so that you never miss a video. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great week, Battle Squad, and as always, fight the good fight. Peace.